This video is about writing a function given a table. So I'm going to show you an input-output table or an XY table. And you will have to use this table to create an equation or a function that is in slope-intercept form. So y equals mx plus b. This means that we need to be able to find the slope of our table and we need to be able to find the y-intercept of our table. So I have two examples for us today. So let's look at this first table. Our equation always starts with y equals. But now we need to find the slope. And if you remember, slope is rise over run, or how far up and down and how far sideways do we count in between all of our points. So if it's up and down over sideways, that's kind of like our change in y over our change in x. So to find our slope, we're first going to look at the x column and try to figure out what pattern is happening from top to bottom. Well, if you look at these numbers, between each row of numbers, 3 is being added. So the change in our y values is 3. Now we also need the change in our x values, or how far side to side. So if I look at the change in my x values going down the table, well, our table goes +1 on the x side, meaning our slope is going to be 3 over 1. Again, our y values always go on top of our x values. And behind our slope, we always need the variable x. And then we need the y-intercept. To find the y-intercept, I find the x value that is equal to 0 and look across from it on my table. Across from our 0 is the number 2, so my y-intercept is going to be 2. Let's look at our second example. Again, equations always start with y equals, and then we need our slope. Our slope is always y's over x's, so I'm looking at my y values. And in my table, they decrease by 2, or they subtract 2. So I'm going to need a -2. And when I look at my y values, they again add 1. Again, x's over y's. Our slope is y's over x's, with the x behind the slope, and then I need my y-intercept. Now you remember in the first example, our y-intercept, we found the 0 and we looked across from it, and that's how we got +2. In our second table, though, we don't have a 0. So we have to create the 0. We have to expand our table so that the 0 value of x is part of this table. Well, if I were to keep in order, the 0 would need to go right here at the top of our table, so that our x values will go 0, 1, 2, 3. They stay in the correct order. So what we need to do is figure out what number would need to go across from the 0 so that our pattern on the y side stays the same. Well, the only number that's going to allow that to happen is 26, because 26 minus 2 is going to get us down to 24. So my y-intercept is 26.